Welcome back to Dover, Delaware, and this is a Visa Race Break. 226 laps of 400 on the Monster Mile, and Tony Stewart, who has completed all but 7 laps this season, is dominating here, although with pole sitter Jeremy Mayfield, he gave him the pass early.
Yeah, he said, hey, come on, buddy. You're a little bit quicker than I am. Go on by. And later on, Jeremy returned the favor by letting Tony back on the outside of him. So a lot of respect between these two guys.
And you got to have respect for the Monster Mile. The walls, no safer barriers yet. They'll be here later on. That was Joe Nemechek and Jeff Gordon moments ago in turn 2, the right front tire. A 4-time winner here. Jeff Gordon, the only active driver to lead more than 2,000 laps here at Dover. And let's check in on Jeff Gordon with Matt Yoakum.
Jeff watches his team start repairs to that 24 car. What happened, Jeff?
You know, I was so tight, and I just was running hard and trying to find a line that I could get the thing to turn, and I almost came on just a few laps before that and said, I don't know how the right front's staying on the race car, because I was just having to abuse it so hard and it was so tight. So it doesn't surprise me that it blew. We were abusing that right front really hard. Not sure why they don't have soft walls here, though, and I'm definitely one in favor of them right now.
How bad's the race car?
You know, I'm not even in favor of fixing race cars and going back out. I'm just, disappointed we didn't need this. We needed a good finish here. We had a great race car, and I mean, we certainly had a top 5 finish ahead of us. But this disappointed. It's gonna be a big hit in the points again.
He came into Dover 4th in the standings, only 67 markers, Chris, ahead of Tony Stewart, who's leading the race.
Yeah, thanks, Matt and Jeff. And he fell after last week's race, the 30th place finish, slipping back a little bit. But the softer or the safer barrier, the walls, they are coming in September here. This is a place all drivers have said, even coming into the weekend, they absolutely need them. Brian Vickers, by the way, the free pass. Let's talk about the pit stops and what you saw there.
Well, Chris, I think it's really going to get into a situation where we've already had 6 caution flags so far during the course of the race, and I believe the race off of pit road and what these guys can do as far as the adjustments, keeping up with the changing track conditions, this is where I believe this race is going to be won or lost. And so far, Tony Stewart's guys have kept him up there toward the front. Their car's been really good and very solid on long runs, but it still gives an opportunity for guys like Jimmy Johnson to work on their cars so they can close that gap on long runs and challenge him later on during this race.
This race has been a great opportunity for young drivers in the past to win their first Cup race of their careers. Let's check in with the Mach 3 Turbo Champion, inviting you to enter the Gillette Young Guns Challenge. Each week, a lucky fan will win $5,000. Go to www.GilletteYoungGuns.com for details. You just talked about Jimmy Johnson. See Dale Earnhardt Jr., the points leader, struggling in this race, but a former winner here.
Yeah, and Casey Kane. Can't leave Casey Kane out. He seems like each race he is always a factor. And so far, his car has really been good on long runs. I like Tony Stewart, but they keep getting closer and closer after these pit stops, and that's exactly what he needs.
Let's rejoin Mike, Larry, and Darrell. This has been a Visa Race Break.
And Darrell, you know, we talk about Jeff Gordon losing that right front tire. This is a 1-mile racetrack, but the right front never gets a rest. When you look at 3 and 4 here, it starts getting loaded here and it's loaded there, and it's the same on the other end. So when you're looking at this racetrack, the right front, the straightaways are very short. The right front never gets a rest. It's loaded all the time.
Yeah, and you put a tremendous amount of pressure on it. And how you make these cars turn is to drop that air down in the right front. Ever how much you decide you can stand, you go right to the absolute minimum, because that's when the car will turn the best. And that's also when it abuses the tire the most.
Tony Stewart's had a dominating performance so far. 1 lap before we go green. We're really impressed with the run by Dave Blaney in 11th place, lead lap car, a part-time effort from Bill Davis Racing. Steve Burns is in their pit.
And my crew chief, Felipe Lopez, also impressed with the race car. He told Dave Blaney that he's faster than all the Roush cars that are in front of him. On the last stop, they made absolutely no adjustments. Dave Blaney saying the car is just a little bit tight. One other note, the car is better when he's not in traffic.
And a lot of people may ask, what does Dave Blaney and that group have that some of the major teams that are here every week have? I think it's chemistry between Felipe Lopez and Dave Blaney, something a lot of these teams can't find and are still searching for.
Derek Finley and Felipe were the crew chief and engineer on the 1 car when I drove for Dale, so they are a good combination. They know what they're doing.
The lead lap cars are Stewart, Jimmy Johnson, Casey Kane, Rusty Wallace, Ryan Newman, Jeremy Mayfield, Mark Martin and his teammates Kurt Busch, Jeff Burton, and Matt Kenseth, plus Dave Blaney and Brian Vickers as we go back to green to start lap 231.
Brian Vickers got the free pass, the partner back on the lead lap that time. Michael Waltrip in the 15 car, the Napa car, in third position on the racetrack. He's trying to do what his teammate did earlier, Dale Earnhardt Jr., stay in that position. If the caution comes out, he will get the pardon in the free pass.
Now, Michael doesn't have a bad car. He's running okay if he could get back on the lead lap.
The news earlier this week, Dale Earnhardt Jr. saying that perhaps Michael Waltrip would not finish out his career at DEI, and that set the reporters running throughout the garage area. And Michael had a great run last week at Charlotte. And Darrell, it seems that every time they light the burner underneath that whole 15 team, they turn it up.
Maybe there's a method to their madness.
Maybe so.
I know one thing, last week was his best unrestricted race I've seen Michael drive. He did a whale of a job.
Caution, debris.
Debris in turn 3 brings the caution out.
That's the break Michael Waltrip needed right there. He will get the free pass.
7th caution of the day comes at lap 234. Debris in 3. Might have come from contact between Dale Earnhardt Jr. and Sterling Marlin.
So one of the things you see up here at the top of the racetrack, see all that rubber and little pebbles and stuff up there, little pieces of rubber, not pebbles. That's what gets on your tires when you get up out of the groove. Whoa.
And again, that breakup is caused by the cars passing under the bridge.
That's a little bit more than a bridge over there, Mike.
That's right. It's the DuPont Monster Bridge. And it's not a crossover bridge like the one in turn 2, but it's a VIP suite.
29 feet above the racetrack, and it's got hurricane-resistant glass for in case a lug nut flies off. It's 50 theater-style seats. Got television, radio, scanners, flat-screen TVs, air conditioning, and a bar.
And oh, by the way, Terry Ford right there on camera.
And oh, by the way, right under here is where I'd have me a big bunch of caution lights, too.
Here, Terry's getting married next Saturday. Turtle.
Wave at us, Turtle. We're talking about you, buddy. There you go.
Here's Steve.
Mike, you guys have talked about how Jeff Gordon struggled at Lowe's Motor Speedway while his teammate Jimmy Johnson dominated. Well, same thing here today. Jeff Gordon talked about how the car was weighing heavily on that right front tire, but when Jimmy Johnson stopped recently, Chad Canals and the crew looked at the tires, Chad telling Jimmy, your tires look excellent. They look great. So again, another comparison of one team struggling, another one running great, but teammates all the same.
234 laps complete. 7th caution of the day, a spring rubber on the track. Most of the reasons were under caution.